Hello and welcome to the latest Q&A in Screen International's For Your Consideration screening series. My name is Mark Salisbury and I'm delighted to be talking with Abdulelah Alqurashi, the director of this year's Saudi Oscar entry, Alhamour H.A. Abdul, how are you?
Good, Mark. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. So your film is based on a true story about a man in Jeddah in the early 2000s who made it rich selling phone cards. So when did you first hear this idea, and then why did you think it was a great one for a movie?
Okay. First of all, let's put it in this way. It's more inspired by the true event, not literally based on the true story. Uh, Actually, I lived there in Jeddah in early 2000, and let me tell you, this is a nice story behind it. I wasn't a filmmaker back then. I was a banker.
Okay.
So I remember one of my friend, like he tried to insist me to invest in this scam, but I didn't. So after a week, like when they get to the close, after the before they got cut from the government. So and I asked him like, did you invest in this investment? And he said no. When we went there, it was a villa, and they closed the door. They told them like, we're not gonna give more money. That's enough for today.
Mm.
And people starting collecting their cash and writing their numbers and ID numbers and throwing the money over the villa. And since then, I saw that as a scene. And actually, we did that scene in the movie.
Mm.
This is the master scene. So I was impressed by the greed of the people, the idea of the fast wealth, and how people uh, taking risks and trust no one, just forget some cashes.
Mm.
So yeah, this is the idea. It comes from that scene.
So how did you then expand that idea into a film with your two screenwriters? I mean, you say it's inspired by the truth, so a
Yeah,
lot of it's fiction then. So take me through that process, how you kind of.
yeah. Actually, why we decided not to take the 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 true story, because actually in the beginning I afraid that maybe the true story it's not exciting that much. Maybe the characters in the true story they're not interesting, and I want to get a freedom to be creative, not to be close with the true story. Actually, it started in the pandemic. I started writing the treatment of the story. A year after, here when I met the writer Hadi Kadour, and he took that treatment, but he changed it for we kept the scam, the Ponzi
Mm.
scheme that they did, but he added like so many things. Like I believe it's funny things to have
Mm.
in the script. So here when we started, we worked a year on the script, and yeah,
Mm.
we got there.
So the film has been likened by several reviewers to Martin Scorsese's The Wolf of Wall Street. And I
Yeah,
just wondered, were you inspired by that film at all? Have you
for,
seen it?
for sure, for sure. I'm a big fan for all Scorsese movies, but there is a similarity for for the two movies. But maybe the story with Alhamour, it's a very local story and true story happened. And also the Wolf of Wall Street, it's based on the true story.
Mm.
And here's when I amazed by like the greed, it's a human nature. Wherever it's happened in New York or in Chicago or in Saudi Arabia in Jeddah, people will react the same. So yeah, as a reference, for sure, Wolf Wall Street was one of the top
Mm.
references.
So your debut feature, Roland, was the first Saudi film to play in Saudi cinemas, I believe. Um,
Yes, yes,
and for your second, this one, you said that it was important that the story have international appeal. Um, and obviously greed is very universal. But why were you looking for an sort of an international story this time, even though it is set in your home country, as I said, it has international appeal. So why was it important to you as a filmmaker?
Uh, you know, you always want to expand and mix other people, other culture, other point of view to watch your movie. I'm not talking commercially in this point, even artistically. Um, when I meet people here in US or in Europe, and I like the way how they look to the movie, their perspective totally different than the Saudi or the Arab world. So I mean, for an artist, you wanna expand your work more. You wanna, if you have a message or something you wanna show, you like the whole world to be engaged with you. You know, either with the criticism or you know or a happiness. You want, and I believe in Saudi Arabia there is a lot of great stories. I believe the people would know more about it, and to show different cinema, especially because Saudi Arabia it's a newborn industry, like it's just 5 years old since they opened the cinema.
Mm.
So between Rolim and Alhamour, you wanna show that maybe a different cinema with different stories.
Mm. So can we talk about your cast? So Fahad, your lead, who plays Hamed, is incredibly charismatic, goes through a range of emotions through the film, is very engaging, is a huckster. And I think it's either his first or second film, this
Person, person,
first film. So
yes.
where did you find him?
Mutual friends. I met him like 2 years before, and actually he wasn't in my mind for that role, but actually he was a reference. Originally, Fahad, he's a cop, and
Okay.
he is still there. And actually, I was casting another famous actor in Saudi, uh, and suddenly, just his picture just pop ups in my mind. I called him and I told him, you know what? I will send you the script through WhatsApp, no NDA. Read it and let's meet.
Mm.
And from the first minute, I believe that Fahad, he's the lead. And actually, I asked him which part in the movie that you think you will play. And immediately he was so confident. And he said, I will be Hamid.
Wow. So he was a policeman, you said,
Yeah,
and he had never acted before at all.
a small part in a TV show, like very, very tiny scene
Mm.
as a policeman.
Okay. But it's very risky to base a film around somebody who's never acted before. So how did you, I mean, it's such a wonderful performance. So how did you get that out of him? Did it take a lot of rehearsal, or was he just a natural?
There's a lot of rehearsals, a lot of talking with Fahad. We had an amazing acting coach on board, but actually the other cast, which they have a lot of experience in acting from a different schools, and actually they were helpful also. We didn't have that jealousy from Fahad. They were very supportive, and Fahad, he's amazing an actor. This this is the first actor, fast learner. Like
Okay.
he got the things immediately, and from his accent, like from the way how he looked new for the Saudi cinema, and he looks very real, like a real Saudi guy. You know what I mean? And yeah, I think I believed in Fahad, and he gave me what I want exactly.
Mm. So talk about some of the other casts. So Khalid, who plays Silly, Ishmael, who plays Abu Azza, Fatima, who plays Gigi, and Kareem, who plays Fatima. It's such a great ensemble, and particularly with his friends, with Hamid's friends, it's a really nice kind of motley crew. So just take me through the process of finding all those actors and bringing them together.
Okay. First, with Ismail Abu Azza, actually, he was one of the writers.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, I know Ismail for a while. We never worked together before, so I was excited to work with him. And actually, he told me that if you're gonna give me a role, give me a Mu'azza. And I gave him for Ismail, but he was on it actually, and I saw that from the first beginning. With Fatma, Gigi, sorry, Fatma AlBanawi, I worked with Fatma before, and in maybe two movies before. She was with me in Rolim as well. Uh, Also, like from the first line of Fatma, of Gigi, I just imagine Fatma, the way how she looked, the way how she talk, like she's the real Jaddawi girl in the early 2000s, because there is really a lot of details in Gigi's character, because if you live in Jeddah in that time, you know how those girls wear, look, talk, you know, and Fatma, she hit it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and for Suleiman, silly, Khaled Yaslam, Khaled, he was the lead in my first feature film, Rolim, and I have a really great relationship with Khaled, and a success relation, let's say. And also, he was in my mind because Khaled, he's very a cool guy, and I thought I was talking with Khaled, and I told him I want to work with you in a character that out of your comfort zone. And I believe the silly, like the tough guy, the man from the hood, you know, like the friendship, it's a priority for him. So we worked that with Khalid, based on the look, his hair, the way how he talks. It was very challenging. And finally, Fatma, Khairiya, the wife, also Khairiya, like she was in the first thinking of in my mind when I chose Fatma. Khairi, we never worked together before, but she's a really good friend, and the way also how she get the understanding and let's say the difference or the contrast between Gigi and Fatma. We should have that, you know, in the movie, and that contrast it's very real and very unique and local.
So in your director's statement, you talk about wanting the film to have its own language, tonally and visually. And the film does kind of shift tones throughout, and it looks beautiful as well. So can you talk about the visual language and working with Igor, who was your Russian DP? Because there's freeze frames, there's kind of fast-paced montages, there's narration, so it feels inspired by American movies in a way, and even other Scorsese movies. So I just wondered whether what was the influences visually on the film.
Okay, like as a references, we got it from too many different let's say movie or schools, but definitely I was inspired by all movies of Martin Scorsese, and we grew up watch American movie and Hollywood movie, so definitely you see that inspiration in my movie. But in the beginning, I worked with the Igor a lot, and if you visited Saudi before, Saudi has all that different kinds of looks, feelings, visuals between Jeddah or Riyadh or Jeddah itself. In the summer, it looks totally different than the winter. If you go towards the sea with the coast, you have a different feeling than when you go to the east for the mountains. So based on that life, based on the nostalgia itself, because here's what I like maybe in the Middle East, because in early 2000, you don't know that it's a long time till you worked in it, and you try to find cars and and small stuff that you don't find. And I remember like um, there's a scene when someone bring the cell phone with a camera for the first time. Like it was an event. So let go back to visuals. Uh, this movie, it's heavy, and it has harsh feelings, and there is a roller coasters of emotions. It should be fast, like in a fast pace, in the same time to keep those emotion like on the foreground. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So in terms of that, uh, how how to play a humor but in a very serious situation, and I believe this is how it works in those crazy world. What happened with Hamid, or the real story, he made 1.4 billion real in 3 years. This is very fast, very fast. So the movie should reflect that feeling for the audience. And also, I tried to keep Hamid. He's my protagonist, but he's a bad guy. But in the same time, to keep the sympathy of him as a human being. Uh, we always say maybe the greed itself, sometimes it give you the energy to work, but if you just put it in the right way, because till the end of the movie, Hamid didn't learn anything, and this is a hard thing to do, when you're writing a script, because he's in denial, and he insists that he's not a thief, he's a businessman, but actually he's not. So yeah, with those a lot of characters and emotions and different places, because you see him in a palace, then we jump to see him in a poor neighborhood. So all of the tense emotions and visuals together, it's very tricky, and it's not easy, especially because with the music and the songs, we're telling the story itself. It wasn't like a background or just to keep the tempo up. Like also with the Arabic songs or the English songs, like both they're telling the story and the emotion exactly with the lyrics and with the music for what Hamid and his gang feels.
Mm. And was I right in thinking I heard the theme from The Godfather?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the interview,
Mm.
when he asked him like when he tried to show up how he talks like wealthy people.
Mm. Is that a favorite film of yours?
Yeah, for sure.
Mm. So you mentioned the phones, and it's fascinating because it's a period piece, and I wonder how challenging it is to mount a period piece for you, because you have to find phones and cars, and how different are the neighborhoods to what they were in the early 2000s? Take me through that kind of how
Very,
challenging
very challenging. Maybe in the beginning I didn't aware of how hard is that, and this is a good thing. Kept me
it.
doing the movie. Maybe I would cancel if I know how hard it is. But yeah, when you make a period piece, people like they focus in the small details. Like if you're gonna, we saw that lately in Oppenheimer when they had the new flags. How the audience focused on that flag. Something happened with the extras, so we had too many extras, maybe over 1,000, uh, around 260 location, and all of that contains watches, clothes, hairstyles, cars, all of these items. It wasn't easy because in the beginning I came to set to check all of that, actually to double or triple check it. Like there is an amazing art work in that movie, but one of the part of setting the tones of the movie, it's the feeling of the nostalgia itself. So you had to have that all that elements. And you know, still because Saudi Arabia, it's a new industry in the cinema, so it's not that easy to build everything or just to bring or print everything. So it was quietly hard, but thanks God, like we people loved it.
Mm. So the film is very colorful, and it contains scenes of debauchery. There's a lot of drinking and a lot of drug taking in the movie. Were there any concerns about showing that in a film in Saudi Arabia? I don't know whether the authorities said you couldn't. Well, obviously you put it in the film, but was there a line that you couldn't cross?
Uh, Actually, this is a hard question because we had that concern, but as I don't know if you know that, but this is the first Saudi movie rated R.
Oh, okay. I didn't know
So
that.
yeah, and no one did it before. To ask like another filmmaker like how it works with the authority. So like this type of movie, you need that, you know, that kind of a crazy life. You know, it's a 1 billion in a 3 years. You're not gonna do a charity with it.
Mm.
You know, you're gonna go with all these crazy parties and drugs and stuff. But the most important thing for me, how with a writer as well, how to do that. The first thing comes in my mind, not to clash with the audience itself, with the Saudis, because this is the most important thing. Because you can't go with the authority, and I know because now all these amazing thing and all the development happening in Saudi Arabia, you know, we just open up and in all sectors, you know. So I believe in the cinema in the same thing, but actually they don't give you in the Saudi authority like the what's the green lines or the red lines not to cross,
Mm.
but you can feel like what people likes and what people don't, because at the end of the day I'm a Saudi. I lived there and I know how the cultures work, and the most important thing not to clash with the audience. And surprisingly, like when we show it to authority after we finished, and actually let me tell you that it was a big risk, but I said, you know, I'm gonna do everything at once. So if you're gonna cut the movie, I just only have 15 minutes to show. You cannot cut one or two scenes of the movie. But actually they were very supportive. They worked on it very fast. They didn't cut any scenes from the movie. They were very understanding. And when we released the movie, actually people they got it, and you know, they weren't mad and they accepted, especially from age of 40s and 50s. Like they were impressed and actually happy with the movie. And I got shocked. Let me tell you that I was amazed, Mark,
Mm.
by the reaction.
I was going to ask you, what was the audience reaction like at home? You know, what were the audiences? Young people, older people who were young then? What was the makeup of the?
Actually, no, the oldest, let's say, generation of 80s, the people who relate to that case specifically, younger people, maybe because a lot of young people we have under 18, so so they couldn't go to the cinema. Hopefully now, because the movie will be released in Netflix on December 21st worldwide. So I believe there is another type of audience. They will see the reaction. But actually, in the cinema, no, people they were laughing, they were happy, very conservative. Actually, what I am impressed with the females audience, like the old female, like in the 40s and the 50s, when they're watching the movie, they were laughing, especially conservative females, like with they covering their faces and stuff, but they're still laughing. And actually, I saw that by my eyes in the theater, and I got shocked because I thought, you know, conservative people, they will be, more angry about, showing that, because we still have that problem in Saudi. And let me tell you that also, uh, one of the big issue that we have in Saudi, because the audience, the also Saudi audience, they don't trust the Saudi movies yet. But after now, with this wave, actually they got more engaged with the Saudi movie, so they start to support us. Um, so yeah.
Mm. I was going to ask you finally, what do you think about the state of the film industry in Saudi Arabia at the moment? Because it feels like it's booming. You know, you have Neom, you've got the Red Sea investing in productions at Film Aluya as well.
Yeah,
A
exactly.
lot of movies are coming out. Do you feel happy at the state of the Saudi film industry?
I'm very happy. Let me tell you that, and I'm excited to start working in my third feature film. Um, last year we just had maybe 3 or 4 feature film played in the cinema. This year, only in Red Sea Film Festival, we had more than 8 feature Saudi film. Growing with the industry, building sound stages, um, all that support from the government that we have, people engaging, or even the audience engaging with the movies. As I told you, we have too many great stories and unique and very original stories that we have in Saudi Arabia, never been told before. So this is one of the advantages to start, let's say, late, but you know, as you know, like in America, they fight them with the original stories and that stuff. But no, in Saudi we have a lot. We have many of that. We need more experience, but let me tell you that I believe, and I'm very optimistic about that. The next 5 years, like Saudi will be the place to make a great movie, and I hope so.
Mm. Brilliant. Well, listen, good luck with this one. And good luck with the next one. When are you hoping to shoot? Is the script ready? Are you
No, we're still writing the script. I'm trying to take my time in the third one. I don't want to be, you know, very energetic with the success that we had in Alhamour. I don't want to fail in the third one.
I'm sure you might. Well, listen, Abdulelah, thank you very much indeed. Appreciate your
Thank
time
you.
and good luck with the movie.
I appreciate your time. Thank you.
You're very welcome. And I think I'll be seeing you on Friday. When you're in London. I'm doing the Q&A
Yep.
with the screen.
Yes.
So I
Fine.
will see you then and safe travels.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, take care. See you on Friday. Bye bye.